No screen today, no charts. Wanted to talk about one of my biggest emotional hurdles, which is confidence. And it comes up today on a Sunday because tomorrow's a new week. I've been researching all weekend, I've been preparing all weekend. And while I'm super excited for every Monday, which is something I can never say about any other job I've had, I'm also nervous and kind of have this overall feeling of anxiety and worry because what if I prepare and research all weekend and I lose yet again on Monday? I've lost a lot, before joining the pack. Obviously, I'm still, learning and still losing. And, I've talked about kind of everything outside of trading that hasn't necessarily been ideal for my situation. And I just want one thing to go right, right? And I want trading to be my refuge and I want trading to be my escape. And when I put in all this work and then I come in on Monday and sometimes I don't even pull the trigger, right? What happens if I show up on Monday and I freeze, I don't even pull the trigger and I watch a percent gainer go by me yet again? Or if I finally pull the trigger and I lose yet again? Every time I lose, I think, am I even built for this? Can I even do this? I'm taking 100 steps back. What am I doing wrong? What am I missing? I'm watching plays go by without me, and then when I trade, I lose. I know it's not anything personal, but it almost feels personal. It's almost like when I push the button, the market's like, nope, you're going to lose, which I know for obviously is not the case, but that's what it feels like. So, and this confidence issue isn't just because I'm losing. I've had this confidence issue my whole life. I've never really been a confident guy in general. I think I kind of touched on this before. How, even if I was really good at something and people told me I was really good at something, I still wouldn't believe them. I would just chalk it up to luck or beginner's luck, or maybe the bar was just set low and I happened to be in the right situation. But, this confidence issue isn't just because of trading. It's something I've dealt with my whole life and something that I'm trying to work on. And, there's a kind of a few things that are coming to my mind with all of this is, the first thing is that I'm trying to take the emotion out of it. And of course, there needs to be some discretion and sometimes where you kind of just need to use your experience and your gut to kind of pull the trigger. But I think that's kind of the last piece of the puzzle. And how I'm trying to approach my trades is just strictly from a, I guess, technical standpoint where it's like, okay, I'm looking at a trade. Is the market hot? Is the pattern in play? Is the risk reward there? Is it a pattern that I know and feel comfortable with? Is the dilution okay? Is the volume okay? Is it a first green day? Is it, all these other things? And if all of those things or most of those things are good, then I have to take the trade. That it's just as simple as that. It doesn't boil down to like, oh, I'm nervous, or oh, it's pre-market. Maybe I'm not too familiar with pre-market. It should just be based off of the macro and the micro facts. Again, all those things that I just listed. And if most of those things are good, I just have to pull the trigger. I can't let an emotional fear dictate my trading, right? It has to be based on the things that are happening in the market, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is that I need to become liberated with the idea of losing, right? I have to be okay with losing. If I, throw a tantrum or, question if I'm ever going to make it as a trader every single time I lose, I'm never going to make it. It's as simple as that, right? I mean, if you're a 50% trader, you're a pretty good trader. That means every other time you sit in front of the computer, you're going to lose. Every other time you sit in front of the computer, you're going to lose. Are you okay with that? Can you handle that? And I have to be able to handle that, right? And I think another thing that's on my mind is that, everyone fantasizes about winning. Everyone fantasizes about winning and making it and being successful, which obviously makes sense in what you should do. But what about the idea of being liberated from losing, right? What about fantasizing about the idea of being okay with losing and not caring, right? Of course, you're going to care a little bit, but what about fantasizing of the idea of losing and being okay with it? That's what I'm going to start fantasizing about, right? The wins will come eventually. But my biggest hurdle right now, and I'm sure others, is being okay with losing. And I want to become liberated with the idea of losing, right? And, another thing is, trading can be difficult in that sense with the losing, and it's a nice challenge, right? A lot of people stick to what's comfortable. A lot of people stick to doing something they feel comfortable with and they're good with, and that there's not really a challenge, and they don't have to deal with losing a lot or deal with change a lot. And I want to be someone who takes it to the next level. I want to be someone who actually challenges themselves and actually is okay with losing, and doesn't quit and keeps on pushing, and then ultimately reaches a very successful goal with becoming a successful trader. And I want to be different, right? I want to be different. I want to be someone who could be okay with losing and keep pushing forward. And every loss I'm going to look at as something that I learn, and I want to become liberated with the idea of losing. That's my goal. And to me, it's I'm not going to consider it a failure unless I give up, and I'm not going to give up. It's just as simple as that. I haven't held a single job for more than a year in my entire life. This is the only thing that I've stayed for longer than a year, and I want to keep it that way. I want this to be my career. I'm 31. I have no plan B. This is it. So I'm not giving up. This is it. I'm going to keep pushing forward, which means I'm not going to fail. And one last thing is I talked about my autoimmune disease, and I fully believe that my personality growing up kind of triggered my autoimmune disease. And what I mean by my personality is someone who lived in constant fear and worry, someone who was constantly insecure, someone who was constantly angry and had a short fuse. And all of those things, I believe, over the course of a long time is what triggered this autoimmune disease, which, if you don't know what an autoimmune disease, it's essentially your immune system is in overdrive and attacking yourself. And like I've said before, everything in trading starts outside of trading. And this just constant fear and anxiety of what's my future going to look like? Am I going to make it? Am I ever going to be successful? Am I going to ever be able to take care of myself and my family? And if I ever going to make a good trade, am I ever going to make it as a trader, right? Monday comes by and I'm like, again, what if I just lose again and I just can't figure this out? And I need to stop that thinking outside of trading and in trading, because it's literally killing me with this disease, one, and it's hindering my trading, right? And, so my game plan and my action plan going forward is when I'm looking at a trade Monday, I'm going to try to look at it from a pure technical standpoint. If X, Y, and Z is good, then I have to pull the trigger. That's our job. Our job is to pull the trigger if the trade makes sense, right? And then become liberated with the idea of losing. I want to be so comfortable with the idea of losing that it just doesn't matter anymore, right? And, a lot of people say oh, we'll just size down. I'm only trading with $100. It has nothing to do with the money. It has to do with I don't want to be wrong yet again. I just want to be good I just want to be good at something, right? I want to be confident in something. I want to feel secure in something, right? And again, I have everything going outside of my life going poorly. I just want one thing to go well. And I know I can't connect the two. So it's another thing that I'm working on. But I'm going to become comfortable with the idea of losing. And if I could do that, if I could become comfortable with the idea of losing and be okay with losing, I really truly think that sky's the limit. So yeah, that's my plan. If anyone has similar issues that I have, I hope this video helps, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.